Welcome to the first ever Amazing Race Canada recap podcast from the UR Team Number Facebook group. I am Michael and I am joined as ever by the guy who is proud of the zip line in Calgary that is named after him, Logan the Monster Saunders.
Good morning.
Good morning, Canada. If you want to get in contact with us, as always, you can do so. Comments under the YouTube video if you're watching on the YouTube channel. There's also Q&A on the Google Plus page. And you can get your opinions on the Facebook group, which is linked in the video description. Alternatively, use the hashtag yatncast, which you can see whenever I speak during this podcast, which, of course, will happen a lot, let's be honest. So, week one. Wagwan.
So, there's snow in Canada, eh?
Shockingly, the Icefields Parkway lives up to its name.
Yeah. Lots of snow in Mountains in Jasper, which looks almost identical to Cortina d'Ampezzo from the Amazing Race 4 premiere, if I say so myself.
It does, but with more kindness and apologies.
Yeah, the mountains apologize for the snow and the coldness that day and the poor conditions on the Ice Express.
Sorry, guys. Oh, Canadianisms. I will be talking about them a lot this season. Because I have been keeping counts. Is the Ice Explorer vehicles the coolest entrance we've seen for a while? I think so.
Most unique one for sure.
Certainly quite a badass way to enter. I mean, the jet boats last season were pretty cool, but...
I have a feeling the jet boats are a bit faster than the Ice Explorers.
Just a little. As I'll find out. But, yeah, I think it was one of the cooler ways that we've seen.
And apparently
the boring ways
the host
that America does.
Gets to introduce himself with his own hashtag.
He does. Hashtag John Monty 2 or whatever his Twitter name is. It's John Monty 2, I think, actually. But I've come up with another hashtag for him later in the episodes. It's just John Monty now, isn't it? There is another hashtag that I will be trying to trend with regards to Mr. Montgomery. Seems though there's quite a good one.
Very well.
So we got a little bit of a recap of the cast, which we did last week. Some of the interesting points. Suki and Jinder travelled to 29 countries together. That wasn't mentioned.
Yeah, why are they on Amazing Race Canada?
Exactly. Because as far as they know, they're only going to travel Canada. Little do they know.
Yeah. Well, they all had to apply for a pass.
Yeah, but at no point
Before the start of the season, so they know they can do outside of Canada. We just don't know exactly.
Yeah, they didn't actually say anything about it in the intro because I was watching the words carefully because CCV have not confirmed anything with regards to countries or cities up to that point. It's 15 cities is all he said. He did not say any countries. We know that he's lying, but they don't.
No, he...
Also, our first of many
cities
correct
can be in multiple countries.
Sean did have a sweet mullet. Indeed they can.
Trees.
Sean had a sweet mullet, as we predicted. Yay!
Yeah. Good old Atlantic Canada.
Yeah.
It's probably better off that he's responsible.
Yeah, their son had quite long hair. It was his punishment. Well. Yes, he's being punished. Also, what in God's name were Laura and Jackie doing on a skateboard? That's one of the more random intro shots for a long while.
I don't know. I'm liking the skateboarding lesbians angle that they're working on here.
Yeah, they're trying to get away from the comparisons to Carol and Brandy, I think. The bitter old lesbians. They're now the skateboarding lesbians.
Yeah, but Amazing Race fans have such short memories that nobody even remembers Caroline and Brandy anymore.
We should put a stop to that. Also, John's pronunciation of Elaine and Audrey is already winding me up. Just say it like everyone else. Elaine and Audrey.
Elaine and Audrey?
No, no, he was doing it even
It's
more
so
pretentiously.
short.
He wasn't even doing it the French way. He was just doing it stupidly. Yeah. He's just doing it stupidly. Rex and Bob also move very fast.
I hope John really tries hard with his French accent more throughout the season.
It'll get on my nerves if he does, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably one of the things he's been told to do. Ham up the Frenchness. Lord knows we're going to be French-speaking places, so do it mockingly if you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rex and Bob move very fast. Their first date lasted 3 days, and they were moving in together within 28. They obviously know exactly what they want.
Yeah, it's maybe they just don't really have that many friends outside of each other.
Probably. Sharla and Nabila speak our first Canadianism by saying they have lots of nice outfits to wear. Which makes
Yep.
Ryan and Rob agreed with us that their main positive would be if they can deal with belligerent drunk people on a daily basis, they shouldn't have too many problems. Ding! Number 2 for us.
Yeah.
We also saw another bit of Cormac and Nicole's creepy workout. Ugh. Still creepy.
Yeah, the claws will come. Hey, the claws are going to come out if you keep trashing them, eh?
Oh, bless.
I should note that.
Go at someone. What's he gonna do? Put something in the wrong place again?
I should know. And Nabila said that they didn't come here for a second, and I wrote down they probably came here to not do a lot of things.
Yes. Oh, they were quite funny this episode with how useless they were.
Yeah.
But that's
and
all.
How much they live up to our expectations throughout.
They did, however, impress me with one massive Amazing Race meme. They were the only ones to do a simultaneous head turn. Classic Amazing Race intro.
Oh, really? The Terry?
Yeah. They were the only ones.
The Terry and Ian patented head.
Yeah, absolutely no one else did the head turn. Because I was watching out for it, because it's one of my favourite things to watch out for in a new season. Because I'm sad. They have finally confirmed that it's 12 legs and 15 cities. Last season was 10 legs, 15 cities. So they're up in the game a little bit. Either that or just staying in cities. But no mention of how many random villages or whatever they end up in Asia. And also,
to be determined.
Yeah, did you notice how many or how John set them off? It was good luck and make Canada
proud.
What the hell? Yes, I'm looking at you, Olympians.
Well, it was like I was saying about the first season, how the first season really worked the patriotism angle.
Yeah, but it's like shoving patriotism down our throats.
I mean, this amazing. Very true. That's probably always going to be like that with the series because they want to separate from the American series. That Canada can in fact do have their own successful reality show that isn't just Deal or No Deal Canada, or Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grade Canada, or Wipeout Canada.
Or Big Brother Canada.
We actually have something relatively good for once.
That bastion of patriotism, Big Brother Canada.
That too.
Shouting at people. Brilliant way to portray the First Nations. Suzette.
Yes.
Did you notice the best reaction when John was going through the prizes? Everyone, without fail, jumped up in the air at petrol.
Not the best reaction.
It was petrol. That was what everyone jumped up in the air at. Everyone was like, "Yay, petrol!"
Yes.
Not "Yay, round the world flights" or "Yay, $250,000."
Yes,
or,
free
"Yay,
gas for
cars."
life.
Petrol! Woohoo! And yes, the images are indeed back.
Well, Harry. Can you use the new cars if with
Maybe.
I remember in the Masonry's Family Edition that they were equally excited for the free gas for life prize that they offered the Branson family.
It's such a random prize. It's like, what else can we give them? They're getting cars. How about free gas for life? That's a good idea. So, once John got through
well, it's probably worth about $50,000.
We found out the first location. Yeah, it's 50 years, I think. I remember researching it when it was first announced. It is quite a big prize, but it's such a random prize to give them. It confused me a little. But yeah, once John finished his description finally, we found out that they were travelling 300 kilometres to Calgary Olympic Park for an exhilarating way to start the race.
Yeah. Yes, copying right out of the Amazing Race 5. I should note that the cheering at the starting line used the same stock cheering effect that you hear in most 90s movies, and also in the 64. I just want everybody to know that, because I hear that cheering.
As How I Met Your Mother taught us, Canada is still in the 90s now, so it's current films, isn't it? The stock cheering's from. And I'm being mean about Canada again.
Yeah, you hear it occasionally in your movies.
I am very surprised when John was filming. Yeah, I'm very surprised that when they were at Calgary Olympic Park, John didn't mention that he's an Olympian that's probably trained there. Because he lived in Calgary, or still does live in Calgary, as far as I know.
He probably has a house right next to the park, and it was super convenient for him.
I seem to remember him mentioning last time when they went to Calgary. Oh, by the way, I live here. Cool. You knew that.
Yeah, Phil Kogan never did that. Whenever they visited New Zealand, you didn't see Phil Kogan saying, "Oh yeah, I live right. My friend lives here."
Yeah. Actually, no, he did that once. He did that in season 22 with the farm where they did Schmozzle. Yeah, that was his friend.
Oh yes.
He just brought his friends into the production for fun.
Right.
And also the infamous his dad moment.
Yes, his dad. Yes, his dad inappropriately hugging Marisa and Brooke in the 4th round of Amazing Race 13.
Well, it was his one request when he found out they were coming to New Zealand. I want to hug them once. Give me the cutest ones you can find. Oh, we need more moments like that. Just slightly inappropriate. Do you notice that the zip line was so fast that they needed a parachute to slow down?
Yeah, I did notice that. They probably didn't want hockey players vomiting some more on the zip line, I guess.
Oh, you mean the hockey players vomited? Isn't that very like me to have a picture of it? Oh, wait! Of course I screen cap that. First thing I wanted to scream.
And Charlotte Mirna.
Yes. I love how that just keeps reappearing on the group every time any of the teams involved get mentioned. Is Miss California, everyone? Maybe due to me, let's be honest.
Yes.
Also, Natalie and Megan
yes.
resisted the urge to mention the
Team
Olympics
Canada,
when they got
ladies
the
and
clue.
gentlemen.
After maybe we should start that. Yes, Team Canada, everyone.
Well, because otherwise they just act like everything else up in apparently. Their esophagus is human like throughout the season.
Well, they might play with one of them might play with a broken hand in the gold medal final, but can't keep can't keep the lunch down when they're going on a skydive, can they?
No, I hear she vomited twice in 3.5 minutes.
That 3.5 minutes is so going to become a recurring joke with them, isn't it? What can't they do in 3.5 minutes? Let's be honest, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you reckon the card they're using slightly sponsored?
What, you mean the Tahoe's by Chevrolet?
No, the
Chevrolet Tahoes?
The credit cards that they're using, given
Yes.
given the
Interact didn't want to fork out the money.
And then the even better one when Ryan and Rob got to the airport. And how are you going to be paying for this? Using our new credit card.
They may as well use that one credit card from Amazing Race Asia. Standard Chartered. Standard Chartered was the Amazing Race Asia one that got all the close-ups and constant references. So I'm curious how much they'll show off the Scotiabank cards while Interac executives weep.
It was just ridiculous. Are Interac the only sponsor who didn't come back as well? I did notice. I did notice that. But they seem to be the only ones who didn't want to fork out the money.
Yeah, it was probably a lot more expensive for a second season, considering how successful the first season was.
Most watched premiere of any show in Canadian history, wasn't it?
Yes. Considering it has zero competition for that title.
Well, yeah. Given it was over 3 million, I seem to remember.
But yeah, 10% of our population.
Which is ridiculous. Do you notice how awful Shala and Nabila's flirting with Pierre and Michelle was?
Oh, it's just asking how much meat they pack. That was a bit much.
And is it halal? You're not probably going to be buying anything off them if you with them.
Yes, Pierre and Michelle may not even know what that word means.
I did like how my prediction of them being a little bit pidgin English was correct as well. All the
yes,
the S's on the ends of words and things. Also, Pierre and Michelle are 13 years older than Shala and Nabila.
Yeah, I have a feeling that those relationships won't work out.
Yeah. Basically, like them being very older brothers or maybe even parents, if you were Cormac and Nicole.
Yes. So, should we actually talk about the starting line here and the progression of the leg?
Yeah, we probably should, really, shouldn't we?
Ginger annoys everyone about 0.2 seconds into the race, if I recall correctly, by blocking every single Chevrolet Tahoe out there.
Yes, he did.
And then he begins yelling right away, too. And then the hockey players follow that up to annoy us by singing country folk songs, too. So, not a pleasant first minute or so to the Amazing Race.
As long as they weren't going to go, we're gonna win the Amazing Race.
Cormac and Nicole almost did that. Almost. But they resisted.
Why would you want to be Caroline and Jennifer? That's the thing. It's not like they're a very useful team.
I don't know. Maybe maybe outside of Jet and Dave, that's who they feel they're most alike.
Oh, you mean Jet and Dave, who everyone loves?
Yes, Jet and Dave.
Everyone loves Jet and Dave, don't they? Because they want to be them. Wah! Hello, Jet and Dave. What are you doing there?
You know who's as well known as Jet and Dave, of the Canadian Olympic team.
Yeah, I mean, no one can even remember her name, despite the fact that I googled her afterwards, and she's apparently a dual citizen of Canada and the UK. Never heard of her. She does bobsled, apparently.
Oh, I should note that I have never heard of Helen Upperton. They may as well have been like, oh, and you'll get this clue from
No.
this guy I met 20 minutes ago named John McDonald. So, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think Helen
just
Upperton really
random.
needs to be distinct by name because I was equally clueless, even with her name being supplied.
Yeah, I had ended up having to Google it and rewatch the episode to find out what her name was to Google her,
Yes.
which is a bit bad.
Her name may as well have been Wendy Peppercorn and it would have had the same effect.
Yeah. Mind you,
Sandlot reference.
anything outside of hockey, basically, no one knows a Canadian Olympian anyway, do they, generally?
Um, just the Canadian Moguls guy who creams everybody in each Moguls Olympics. That's about it. And Donovan Bailey.
Yeah, even John Montgomery I hadn't heard of until he started hosting The Amazing Race,
Yeah, same here.
despite the fact that he's apparently quite famous for swigging beer.
And for drinking tea with the use of his pinky.
Well, yeah, I got slapped down for that. I
Yeah.
did like the fact that John seems to be willing to do every single task.
Yes, it's always neat to see the host participate in the tasks.
Would we see Alan Wu have done that skydive?
No, it would have he would have been too woozy on the plane.
What, you mean like Natalie was? Hashtag Olympian puke. Oh, I went there.
From the wooziness.
Yeah, I don't even think we'd see.
So apparently this was truly Canadian.
Yeah, I don't even think we'd see Phil do a skydive. I know Phil has done skydives, but I don't think we'd see him do them to introduce a task. Grant probably would. Let's be honest.
Yes, I don't think he rarely does them.
He's not fun enough. Phil's no longer fun.
Yes. So the Virus Center in Victoria after we do the truly Canadian zip line.
Yep, the truly Canadian zip line, named after you, of course. The monster.
Yep. Yes, just like Kevin the Monster Randleman from Mixed Martial Arts.
I think we should start that as your new nickname. Yeah, so then they had to find a biplane and then leg it to the hangar.
Yes. I've never been there. I've been to Victoria once, but I never went to that Aero Center place.
Where Rex and Bob were very happy to be strapped to a man. Not stereotyping, actually what they said.
Yes. That is what. Yes, those are their words, and I'm sure every time they make reference like that, it's going to air on TV. Where and Jackie, where they show them whenever they can.
Yeah, just like Laura
For
and
some
Jackie
reason,
being weird with
whenever there's a
skateboarders.
gay couple, they go their way to show that they are indeed a same-sex couple.
Yeah, shoving more stuff down our throats. So no one
Yes.
really, apart from Natalie having a little incident with her lunch, nobody really had a issue with the skydive task
No. And I should say
that I
that
can remember.
felt like we got to be in Victoria very quickly. There was really no interaction in the airport either, which surprised me, considering there was 3 separate flights for them to all wait for.
Yeah, did you notice that the skydive company was also Skydive Vancouver? It wasn't Skydive Victoria.
Huh. Maybe Skydive Vancouver paid more for the sponsorship.
Maybe.
So the first flight was
It
the
just
hockey players.
confused me a little bit that they. Yep, it was hockey.
Bob and
It was
Rex.
hockey. Ellen and Audrey. Yep, they were top four, and then it was Suki and Jinder, Laura and Jackie, and Ryan and Rob, and then Mickey and Pete, Charlotte and Nabila, Jen and Sean, and Pierre and Michelle on the third flight. Also, the roadblock should have been called. The roadblock clue should have been "Who wants to join John's Angels," which they gave us quite a fun intro.
Yes.
There we are, John's Angels. they definitely
Yes,
went out of their way
A-Team.
to be slightly silly. Yeah, it was a bit A-Team, a bit Charlie's Angels. But yeah, I quite like the John's Angels
Well, John is trying.
comparison.
Yes. John says that he's from Cowtown.
Yes, I should. Then they pretty much skipped straight past the skydive and went on to the etiquette to a tea task,
Yes.
which
After
a lot
now
of teams had trouble with.
he had the fake out with possibly not doing the skydive, and possibly not doing the skydive,
Yeah, the
or never-ending amazing Fairmount Empress Hotel, which I have been to.
it reminded me quite
Which
a lot.
I can assure you, people dress a lot more contemporary.
Yeah, it reminded me quite a lot of the Sandcastles task with how much people had trouble with it. It's just like over and over again. Some teams got it really quickly. For example, a lot. Nabila got it in 2, Rob got it in 3, the twins nailed it in 1, and Cormac got it in 10.
Yeah, good old Cormac. Good old Cormac. I'm glad all of that studying and cramming in school really helped him with this task.
Living up to our impression of him being dopey.
Yes, indeed.
But that
I also like
a classic moment.
I do want to quickly backtrack and how funny it was after Natalie finished the skydive that she just casually says, "You should have done this one," after she vomited profusely on the plane and finished the skydive, as if we didn't catch on that her teammate probably would have been better at the task.
Yes. Having said that, Megan then absolutely annihilated the tea room task. She got it in 2, I think.
Yes, I think it was 2 attempts.
And she
Boston Rob probably would have done the T task in 4 attempts.
and she managed to remember everything afterwards as well.
Yeah, what a show off.
Oh, those Olympians. They can't do things by halves, can they?
No, it's they got to do the whole freaking task and just completely show off as much as possible, and also the most robotic way, the most robotic method as well.
I'm sure that won't be the first time we see them show off and won't be the last.
We'll wait for the second group for the T-row block.
Also, I'm still not a big fan of the double express pass twist. It still doesn't excite me. Because it's a waste. Give them one express
Not
pass,
after it's
don't
been
give them one at all, I don't care.
done 4 times.
Yeah, because...
One in the Amazing Race Canada 2 may be the final time
Well,
that we see this twist come up.
Australia only used it once. There was one express pass in Australia 1, and then they moved on to the salvage pass, which is actually a better twist.
Yeah.
And we don't know what Australia 3 is going to be yet. They might come up with another twist. Hopefully not. I like the salvage pass.
So, the T-row block, it was highly ranked in 22. It wasn't identical to it, but there was certainly a lot of similarities.
Yeah, it's just the amount of struggle that people had reminded me a little bit of the Sandcastles task, because some people absolutely annihilated it, beat it pretty quickly. Some people didn't. Like Cormac, because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
But I mean,
He's not an acceptable waiter.
No, he's not acceptable. Although Megan did have one of my favourite reactions of the episode when she found out she'd passed. This was acceptable service. Nailed it! It's just a perfectly quiet tea room.
Yes.
It's just nailed it!
Down it, drained it.
Slam dunk!
It's
just like the most
19th
inappropriate
century
reaction.
vibe of the place.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was just
It'll
so
be funnier.
funny. Yes. It's just ever so slightly.
And he said, "Who's your daddy?" after completing the roadblock too.
I am warming. I am warming a little bit to Natalie and Megan. I thought they'd irritate me, but actually they are reasonably competent.
Well, we expected them to be really
credit for originally.
Yeah, we expected them to be really strong at the race. We just thought they'd have 0 personalities, but so far between nailed it and vomiting, I may come around in terms of how I think about them.
They're certainly not my least favorite team, or certainly the most boring team that we saw this week.
Yeah, I think there's one team that by far took the most annoying team cake by far, and then we also had the most boring team, which thankfully is also the team.
They were quite good with showing all the teams as well. There weren't any really invisible teams. Ryan and Rob weren't shown much outside of the tea room task. But apart from that, I don't think there's any really invisible teams. The Navy challenge as well is probably a lot easier than it looks. It was only plugging 9 gaps. But of course, our favourite racer had one little problem with it. Of course, I screenshotted Cormac trying to plug a door.
Plugging
a door.
Door with a hammer. Oh, Cormac.
Yes, you see this open door? Why don't we just, hammer a plug into it? See if that works. Facepalm is all I have to say.
Well, it's still gonna leak. A closed door is still gonna leak.
I don't get how they thought that would be an acceptable idea. I don't get how his mum didn't go, "What the are you doing, you moron?"
Maybe she wanted to let some cool air in. You don't know.
Yeah, but then they end up like Shala and Nabila, where they're just freezing.
Yeah. Um, I wish they would have kept Suki at 12,000 feet when she did the skydive, so then we didn't have to hear her scream, because at 12,000 feet, I'm glad that her screaming probably only carried 11,000 feet as opposed to the whole 12.
Well, yeah. I think I do think they are definitely going to have vibes of the team I was talking about from Australia too, Joseph and Grace. They are definitely having vibes of them, and you will see what I mean when you watch Australia too. But
Mr. Green from
they're slightly on the
yeah they
irritating
need
side.
yeah they need Mr. Green from the movie Clue to stop them from screaming.
Yeah, pretty much. They are gonna get annoying, I suspect.
It's only been one episode, and they split the spotlight with 10 other teams, and it's already getting a bit much.
Yeah, they're definitely. I think they might go for the villains because we thought Rex and Bob and who was the other one we thought were going to be villains?
Um, I
Alan and
can't remember
Audrey.
anymore.
Alan and Audrey are a little bit villainous, I think, but
Yes, Alain and Andre.
uh, but I just I don't I don't think anyone other than Suki and Jinder are going to be villains. I don't think they'll get up to Joseph and Grace levels, but
But Nicole is willing to U-turn hockey
yes,
players.
Olympic champions.
She's willing to U-turn Olympic champions, despite Cormac being super fans of two people he never knew the names of before they played.
Well, yeah. But here's the thing: if you U-turn Natalie and Megan, you're probably going to be villains, given that they will be Canada's sweethearts.
Yes, unless they tell you to F off.
Yeah, unless they do tell us to F off. Which I hope they do, because it'll be amazing. Although I suspect
so
that
the hockey team
I suspect that will be their one crowning moment of glory, unlike the Body Break couple.
Yes, I should note that what was it here? I think Cormac failed the task because of the new age of the Twitter brain, where people that are in their teens and younger that were born in the like mid-90s or later, that they can't remember more than 140 characters or so because of social media. So maybe that's why he needed 10 attempts at the.
Or maybe it's just that he's terrible at memorization.
T-row block.
Yeah, maybe he's just terrible at memorization. Maybe it's just not his thing. Which is entirely possible. But, still an idiot. It will be fun if Cormac and Nicole last long enough to have a proper details challenge as well.
Yeah, so hey, he's
he's
years younger than us.
Requires them to have details. Yeah. He's 19, so he's 2 years younger than me and 3 years younger than you. And the youngest person in forever.
And I like how Nicole reference. Yeah, and usually young people do terrible at the Amazing Race because they don't have the experience to do a wide array of tasks. Then again, I like how Nicole did reference that there is a second child that she has, but yet we have no idea who this second child of hers is.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. There has been no mention whatsoever in their bios about having any siblings. And then, yeah, you can do this. You've had 2 children.
Yeah.
Really? Because you seem weird.
I feel so bad for the second child.
What do you bet the second child just lives in the basement? The second child is just forced to live in the basement. They get bread and water every day. Nicole just doesn't give them any attention. and they just
Yes.
cry themselves.
It'll be like that guy from the first season. It'll be like that guy from the first season of Breaking Bad who's just locked in the basement and has to wait for Bryan Cranston's character to deliver him food and water for several days at a time.
But basically, there is no difference between Nicole's second child and a kidnapping. It's a fact. Not a fact. Shh.
Yes.
Did you notice that the pit stop...
And with that, our views climb up for this week.
Well, yeah. You notice that the pit stop map is still just Canada. It's not a world map anymore. Or still.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's still just Canada.
Well, at least it's distinctly Canadian that they just didn't borrow the Americans' map for the season that they
Well, every other international season
actually
has...
produced their own.
Yeah, every other international season that actually leaves the country, so like this one, has the world map but centered on their country generally. So like Australia's is quite weird actually because it's Australia dead in the middle, but yeah, it's still just Canada for some reason. Maybe they're just trolling all of them, thinking that they're going to stay in Canada again. That'd be fun.
How does Australia have the equator position then in their map? It'll be like the purpose of an equator is to be the center. If it's Australia's the center, then that means the equators would be halfway down.
Yeah, Australia is slightly off center, so it's just slightly to the right, if I remember rightly. So, but it's like the main thing in the middle, so you cannot miss it. It's just, it does look slightly odd. It's one of those things that you get to the pit stop and go, really? That's weird. But yeah. I suppose they have to give a little nod to Australia. It'll be interesting to see how they do it with Australia and New Zealand, because it'll probably be Australia. It'll be the middle, Australia on one side, New Zealand on the other, I suspect.
Yes.
Given that starts
the
week after next, Stephen.
So the hockey team, they finished the ship task first, and they have to travel by boat to Esquimalt. Oh no, never mind. That's the name of the damage control training center at the Navy place is Esquimalt. The pit stop place is
the lighthouse.
What is the pit stop? The lighthouse, yes, the lighthouse.
It begins with an F. I can't remember what it's called. It is the Fiskard Lighthouse.
Yes, 13 for the ship task. I said that. Yes. Yeah. I said that the knowledge in the ship task is exactly like Hotel Mario for the Philips CDI.
Fact. So it's a foot race between everyone's favourite Alain and Nadje and the Olympians.
Yes.
Hashtag
Team
Olympian.
Canada.
Yeah, it's hashtag Team Canada versus hashtag Alain and Nadje. I'm going to get so bad with that. And
it's glad that you never had to learn French in school.
Oh, we do. I did it all but 1 year, actually, of secondary school. I just deliberately have it up because it's funny. It's like Joey trying to speak French from Friends. And, of course, in the foot race, of course, Team Canada came in.
So the hockey team and the pit stop greeter has a really terrible hat.
I have a nice screenshot.
We should just take note.
Yes, he does.
Where's his hand going?
Are they going to do another memory task with... That's why I screenshotted that bit. That's just after he gave out the express passes. Because there was a massive banner that came up on the screen when it said Natalie and Megan first place.
Oh. Is the memory task going to be for everyone to remember all the terrible hats that the pit stop greeters wear?
Memory task. Hats Entertainment. Hats Entertainment. It's a Amazing Race memory classic from Amazing
Oh,
Race 17, which was turned into a game show, and one of my
huh.
favourite recent ones actually. Um, they went to a studio with famous game show host Bob Eubanks, and there was a massive screen with 48 pit stop greeters from Amazing Race history, all of whom were wearing hats. They had to use iPads to work out which ones they'd seen, basically,
Oh,
the first 11 legs. So
neat.
it wouldn't be out of the question for it to be Hats Entertainment again, and I wouldn't exactly, be disappointed if it was.
Huh. I did not know that.
Hmm.
From one of the 2 or 3 seasons that I have yet to see because I was in university at the time instead. Okay, so let's see here. Alan and Andre have to settle for second place. It was quite the prize that the Olympians got, I should say. They won 2 tickets to anywhere in South America that Air Canada travels to, and they won $2,000 on the Scotiabank card, and they get the 2 express passes. Not a bad price for the opening leg.
Yeah, the American seasons seem to just give out the express passes or a prize depending on which season. The Australian seasons
Yeah.
do the same. The Australian first leg of the Australian season, in season 2, I think just gave out the salvage pass, but they might have got something else with it. But Canada did this last year as well. I seem to remember they got some flights as well.
Yes, so with this opening round prize, they already have given out more than what the Amazing Race 24 did in each of their first 3 legs prizes combined.
Actually, I was wrong with Australia. Australia gave out $10,000 and the salvage pass for their first leg, which is actually pretty generous. About $5,000 for the UK. That. I
Yeah.
think.
But yeah, this first round prize already exceeds the Amazing Race 24's first 3 prizes combined.
Yeah, but to be fair, they were doing that on a ridiculously shoestring budget. Like, stupidly.
Yes.
And hopefully they'll have learnt their lesson. Because that was annoying as hell. I don't like having to bitch every week. Actually, I do, a little bit, but... But yeah, it was just annoying.
So we see Mick do the T-roadblock, and when he finishes the task, he kisses a random lady right on the lips. Then doesn't even ask, he just shoots in there and kisses a lady on the lips from the 19th century, not knowing probably the hygiene issues that would come up with that.
He said something along the lines of, "Oh, you look pretty as well" before doing it.
Yeah.
Which, is a little bit creepy. But nowhere near as creepy as Cormac and Nicole's joint workout.
Yes. And then Laura and Jackie are amazed by the fire that they see at the damage control center.
This is amazing. And then, it's fire. I'm sure Canada has fire by now.
Yes, and we see some somewhat... And then we see Rex and Bunny through holes.
Yeah, Rex and Bob were not
happy. And they lament over this problem repeatedly.
Yeah, they were not happy with the Navy challenge, were they? But Rex and Bob managed to come in 3rd place, with Cormac and Nicole in 4th.
Yes.
And then Laura and Jackie, Suki and Jinder, Mickey
and
Pete,
with the language
Pierre
barrier?
and Michelle, and Ryan and Rob, respectively, in 5th to 9th. Yeah, piffed. They impressed me, actually. I know I said they speak pidgin English a little bit, which was true, but he's the only one. Michelle was the only one to get it in one go on the T-task, which is pretty damn good. pleasantly surprised.
I do appreciate I think it was Ryan or Rob that picked up the T guy and just picked him up and then carried him 10 feet or so.
It was Rob.
Rob? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he the which?
Rob's the short one with tattoos. Ryan's the tall one without tattoos. The one who's wearing a hoodie over his face.
I see.
I only know because he does YouTube videos. Therefore, I know which one's which.
And Sean faces the ultimate humiliation of the week as he's by Shella or by Nabila at a roadblock.
Yeah,
Nabila beats Sean at the T-tap.
I was quite disappointed by. I was quite disappointed by the by the showing by Jen and Sean. They sucked.
It would have been funny though if they were first. It would be funny if they were first out after endless amounts of fans from Atlantic Canada during season 1, and this season have been complaining, saying, "Oh, you didn't have any teams from Atlantic Canada in season 1," and then this time they said, "Oh, there's only 1 out of 11 teams from Atlantic Canada." So it would have been hilarious if the Atlantic Canadian team was first out, and there was no representation for the next 11 rounds.
At least it would have had a go. At least it wouldn't be able to say, "Oh, you never cast anyone from Atlantic Canada." It was their own stupid fault for going out. But yeah, I had such high hopes for them, but they just sucked. They weren't very good.
Yeah.
It was a shame.
Did you catch what Ryan and Rob said when they arrived at the pit stop in 9th? It sounded like complete gibberish when they were celebrating at the mat. They said, I couldn't even translate for it. I think it was in another language.
Nope. I was more paying attention.
Yeah, it was something like row, 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 or it sounded like they were more barking than talking.
Yeah, I was more ashamed by my pre-season favourites, Jen and Sean, being so sucky. And then, sadly, as we correctly predicted...
But guess what? There was a team that was more sucky.
There was indeed. And our first out was, of course, Charla and Nabila. Which means we got 4 predictions correct this week.
After... Yes. And this was after they dropped an apparatus twice, and then a Charlie horse makes take a penalty.
How?
So and lose by 4 hours, at least.
As far as I know, they are the first teams in season 22 to take a penalty on the the first leg. Even.
Yes.
They're stupid.
I don't know, if there's any place where you'd want an emergency crew when you're feeling down, it would probably be at a damage control rescue base. So she picked the right place to have a meltdown.
Yeah, it wasn't even hypothermia, though, was it? It was just having a meltdown.
Yeah, she dropped an object twice, said she had a Charlie horse, and they couldn't figure out how to plug anything, so they quit.
Yeah. So, that's it for them.
So why were they cast?
Exactly.
Why were they cast?
They were cast.
They couldn't do anything. They could barely. She was freaking out about skydiving a bit, and the only thing they could do was remember T.
The Olympian team weren't cast as the hot girls; they were cast as the famous team. The Laura and Jackie weren't cast as the hot girls; they were cast as the lesbian team. They were cast as the hot girls, who also so happened to be the 4th ever Muslim team in Amazing Race history that we know of.
Yes.
That's why they were cast.
And they finished just as well as all the other Muslim teams in Amazing Race history. I believe the OBGYNs from Amazing Race 22, who finished in 10th, still have the best showing of any Muslim team.
Nope, there's one better. Mo and Mus did slightly better, but not much. Yeah, the Australian representation still has the record. Just. But yeah, we got the OBGYNs who came in 10th. We got Bilal and Saeed who came in 12th, and now Shala and Nabila who came in 11th, and Mo and Mus who came in 8th.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not a great record, not a great casting well for them. And it looks like we're staying in BC next week.
I think the best overall in any... Yeah, maybe Adele should have been on Amazing Race. Maybe he would have made it further.
Probably not much further, let's be honest. But looks like
I can definitely see that.
Looks like we're staying in BC next week. With the surfing capital of Canada.
Yeah, they're going to Tofino.
You been there?
Tofino, which is very similar to a certain name of a place in Super Mario Sunshine. No, I've never been to Tofino. The only place on Vancouver Island I've been to is Victoria, and that was for 4 or 5 days right after my uncle died.
Isle Tofino. Which is now what it's going to be known as.
Yes, Isle Tofino, Isle Delfino. Yes. Hopefully we see lots of...
So who do we think is...
Dantes in next week. I'm looking forward to the concert. I can probably understand them more than...
Who do we think is going next week then? Who do we think will be joining the elite crew of Shala and Nabila in Suckland?
I could see Cormac and Nicole or Sean and Jen, but I think Sean and Jen will recover. And I could see Cormac and Nicole just completely crumbling under the pressure.
I have hope for Jen and Sean, but I won't be surprised if they do go out next week. Cormac and Nicole, I think, are going to have a bit of a meltdown before they go. If there is a ridiculously hard task next week, Cormac and Nicole are going, 100%.
Yeah.
But I don't think.
And then
I don't think it's their time just yet.
Is there any team that stands out as being really slow and relaxed to you out of the 10 teams that are left, or were Shala and Nabila really just that much worse than everyone?
No, I think they were just that much worse. I think
casting line.
I think they were just outplayed. Because even the laid-back team of Mickey and Pete were not that laid-back. They weren't so laid-back, they were horizontal. So, I think that's it for this week.
Yeah, that's...
So
pretty much went as we expected.
We will see you next week. Same time, same place, as far as we know.
Yep.
Bye.